Good evening. This is Brownson's by any means necessary NCAA tournament bracket special. I guess I don't remember what I was calling it yesterday. Today has been a day, man. I am dreading Tuesdays. Tuesdays is technically the end of my week. It's the end of the pay week, but it's the first day of my week. It's like my Monday, really, and it's easily my hardest day of the week. It's the day I don't have any help, and it's the day that we are the busiest down in the commissary where we get the biggest delivery of the week, and so I have to deal with all that, put it all, check it all in, put it all away, and then also do all the runs for 3 restaurants, which usually now, because we're so spread out, because we haven't fully moved into our new storeroom, we're still in 2 different spots on different sides of the airport. It's taking twice as long, so it's taking me all morning just to do the first wave of runs for the 3 restaurants, and then there's a second one in the afternoon, right? So it's a very small window of time for me to get all the stuff put away, and there's a big sense of urgency there because it's cold stuff. It usually comes in around 10 a.m., so you kind of want to get that done before noon at the latest. That did not happen. It did not happen today. We just do not have the manpower right now we are spread way too thin. We are overwhelmed by the expansion, and we do not have the manpower to get it all done in the required time frame when it was all in the same spot, in the same 2 rooms right next to each other, not so spread out. I was able to get it all done in an 8-hour shift, no problem. But these last 2 Tuesdays, we've had a problem. But I hear that we are getting a new person tomorrow, so that'll be nice to train them. Also get my other coworker back tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday usually are the slowest days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Friday are the busier days, and then Sunday. Saturday's real slow, Sunday's typically fairly busy as well. Wednesday, Thursday, slowest days of the week, and those will be the days, the 2 days of the week where we have more than enough help. We'll have me, we'll have my supervisor, we'll have me, we'll have the new guy, and we'll have apparently a new girl tomorrow. So we'll have 4 people tomorrow. So it's going to make my day easy. It's going to make my day boring, but easy. I definitely need an easy day after today, especially since I didn't get a whole lot of sleep yesterday either. I tried to go to bed around 9:30, got up at 4. I didn't go to sleep till almost midnight. I don't know what the deal was, but just didn't happen. I finally found a flight to Phoenix that was priced at a reasonable spot for me. It was $170. It's a really weird flight. So technically it's a flight from Eugene, so I gotta go down to Eugene instead of Portland. I usually fly to Portland because that's where I work. It's really close to my house. It's just really super convenient. But I'm gonna be going down to Eugene because I couldn't fly anything out of Portland for like less than $300. It's insanity right now. But I found this one out of Eugene, $170. It's a major airline. It's not, some cheap little Spirit or Frontier. It's American Airlines. $170. It's technically a flight to Tucson, right? So it's weird. So I have this layover. There was actually 2 options. One is $205. I would have left at 5 a.m. Saturday morning instead of 5 p.m. Saturday night. I chose the cheaper one for, because it's cheaper. Also because in case I don't get the day off on Saturday, I'm able to still go to work. I can just leave early and head down to Eugene a couple hours if need be. And if I do get the day off, I can just go early, spend the day with Victoria, park my car at their house for the weekend, and they can give me a ride to the airport because they live in the north part of Eugene. So as close to the airport as you can pretty much get residentially in the Eugene Springfield area. So they have no problems giving me that ride. But so yeah, it's a flight to Tucson, right? It's So the first leg is Phoenix, and I have an 11-hour layover in Phoenix, and then I go to sleep, come back the next morning at like 6 a.m. and fly down to Tucson. It's such a stupid flight. Who's gonna wait around in Phoenix for 11 hours to go down to Tucson? Tucson's an hour and a half from there. I'm gonna get off the plane in Phoenix and catch a freaking bus or something to Tucson. I'm not gonna wait around 11 hours. But anyways, I'm just using it as a conduit to get me to Phoenix. So the layover's in Phoenix. I'm just gonna get off the plane in Phoenix and leave the freaking airport. The other one that was a little bit more expensive that left at 5 a.m. Went to Phoenix first, right? So I was just gonna go to Phoenix, and then it goes to Dallas, Texas, like in the late morning, early afternoon, and then it comes back from Dallas to Tucson. It was an absolutely stupid flight. But I was willing to pay for either one of those and just get off the plane directly, a direct flight from Eugene to Tucson, because I was looking at direct flights from Eugene to Tucson or Eugene to Phoenix. It was over $300, so I'm saving $150 and getting the same result. I'm getting a direct flight to Phoenix. It's stupid, but it took a lot of digging, a lot of research, a lot of stubborn, a lot of frustration, but I finally found something. Now we got to figure out when and where I'm going to come home. Obviously, going to come home to Eugene, but like which airline? I know Southwest happens to have some pretty good deals on, right now. So that's probably what I'm going to do to get me from Phoenix to Eugene, but we'll see. I found my mom a great deal getting there and back for my grandma and her. I've not been able to. It was a lot harder for me to find something for me, probably because I'm leaving on the weekend. They were leaving on during the week, like Thursday morning, coming back Tuesday. Those are like not heavy traffic travel days, whereas Friday, Saturday, those are big heavy days. But anyway, let's get to it. This is going to be the South Regional Preview breakdown, my predictions. So Wright State and Bryant, I don't believe they've played yet. I like Bryant to win that game, the 16th seed, just because they have a guy like Peter Kiss who leads the nation in scoring and have a legitimate star, whereas Wright State, I don't know much about Wright State. I haven't seen or heard anything about Wright State this year. So I like Bryant to win that game, the 16th seed game there to face Arizona. Arizona is back among the elite programs of basketball. It only took 1 year under Tommy Lloyd, the former Gonzaga assistant. I hated that hire at the beginning. I was like, Arizona is an elite basketball program. Why are they hiring an assistant who's never been a head coach before from a mid-major school to coach this team? But obviously they knew what the hell they were doing. I was stupid. I was an idiot. I regret saying that. Tommy Lloyd has been fantastic for Arizona, and Arizona is the basketball school of my youth. I was a huge Mike Bibby, Miles Simon, Lute Olson fan. Kind of strayed away from Arizona in the Sean Miller regime. Not because I'm not because I'm a bandwagon fan. I just did not like Sean Miller's style of play. He was boring. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't like his style of play though, for sure. I felt like he underachieved. I didn't like him. Just didn't like Sean Miller coming to Arizona, and that ended up being, a bad move. Anyways, Tommy Lloyd, great move. The team's already in the national title hunt after 1 year, and the players have shown tremendous improvement. So yeah, obviously I'm picking Arizona to advance against Wright State or Bryant, but I think if I was going to pick, what did I say? Georgia State. Yeah, I said Georgia State might upset Gonzaga. Bryant, though, because of Peter Kiss, and because Arizona is missing their point guard, Kerr Kriisa, that could potentially be a trap game for Arizona against Bryant. But I am going to pick Arizona, and I do not have my pen on me. Hold on 1 second. Alright, Arizona over Wright State and Bryant. Just barely. I think Bryant's going to give him a hell of a game. Might be Arizona's toughest test of this whole NCAA tournament. We'll see. Next, we got the 8-9 game, Seton Hall versus TCU. Two very, very even teams, as you can see by the seeding. 8-9, they both struggled to score. They both have good defenses, well coached, come from big-time basketball conferences. However, in this game, I'm going to go with TCU just because I think that Kevin Willard is kind of has one foot out the door. I think he's going to take the Maryland job, or possibly even the Louisville job. He's going to have his pick of bigger jobs if he wants bigger jobs, and I think that because he's going to be, no verifiable proof here. It's just completely hunch that he is not. He's a little distracted, and TCU, led by Jamie Dixon, he's not going to be distracted. They're going to be very motivated to win this game. I think TCU gets past Seton Hall to play Arizona in the round of 32. Next, we got the 4 versus 13. We got Illinois versus Chattanooga. Chattanooga is a very dangerous little team from the SoCon. Very good upset potential here, especially since Illinois, Illinois was the number 1 seed last year and they got upset in the second round. Brad Underwood has done really good things there. Illinois still has a lot of talent. They have a player in Kofi Cockburn who is almost unguardable for most college players. So that's going to present a big matchup problem for Chattanooga. And that's going to be the deciding factor for me, Illinois. I think Illinois does get past Chattanooga, but again, Chattanooga, I would not be... I'd be surprised if they pull the upset, but I wouldn't be, shocked. I would be like, yeah, I guess I could see how, that happened. Plus, Lamont Paris is the coach of Chattanooga. He is up for a couple of, bigger jobs, like South Carolina has come up in conversation, LSU possibly, stuff like that. So he's going to want to make a good impression. So don't be surprised if Chattanooga pulls the upset, but I'm going to go with Illinois. Next, in the 5-12 game, we got Houston versus UAB. Kelvin Sampson is one of the very best coaches in college basketball. I think that his time at Houston is coming to an end, though. Again, he could be going to LSU, he could be going to Florida, he could be going to any major job that he wants this offseason, because he is probably one of the top 10 best coaches in college basketball. What he did to take Houston to the Final Four last year was amazing, and what he did this year after losing his top 2 players, still winning the conference, and I believe they even still won the conference tournament. I don't remember if I saw the final score. I know it was Houston versus Memphis in the AAC final. I don't remember who won. I'm assuming it was Houston, but Houston, the class of the league again. Houston is definitely a vulnerable team. I don't think they're going to go as deep as their seed maybe suggests, but I don't think UAB is going to present too much of a challenge for Houston in the first round. I am picking Houston to advance against UAB and Jordan Walker. Even though UAB may have the best player, well, certainly will have the best player on the floor, I still like Houston. I still like Kelvin Sampson. Kelvin Sampson is going to find a way to coach his team to victory in this game. Now, 6 versus 11 seed. This is a very intriguing game for me. I think whichever team wins this game has potential to go very, very deep into this tournament. In the multiple brackets I filled out, I did rotate who I picked to win this game, and I did have them going very deep into the tournament. But in this one, 6 Colorado State versus 11 Michigan. I am going to roll with Colorado State just barely, because I just don't think Michigan just isn't very good this year. I don't believe Michigan belongs in the tournament. I think they've been very they've been very disappointing, and I think they just, a lot of these young kids, Caleb Houston, Musa Diabate, I think they're just ready for this year to be over. They just want to get into the NBA, or at least into the pre-draft process, because I think they're both going to get some news that they're not really going to like. They're probably not going to be first-round picks. so they're probably gonna come back to school. Maybe they're gonna transfer, give the transfer portal being what it is nowadays. But I think they want this year to be over. I don't think they're going to be motivated to win this game. It's just been a bad year for Michigan overall. Colorado State has a couple of very good players. David Roddy, Isaiah Stevens, a very good coach, Nico Medved, who I don't understand why Nico Medved didn't get the Minnesota job last year. They gave it to that loser, Ben Johnson, who is underqualified. But that's a different story. Nico Medved could potentially leave Colorado State this year, especially if he is coming off very successful NCAA tournament run. Colorado State over Michigan, 6th seed over the 11th. So far, this bracket has no upsets. Number 3, Tennessee versus Longwood. 14 Longwood was kind of a surprise into the tournament entry. It's their first trip into the NCAA tournament ever. Tennessee under Rick Barnes has a tendency to lose very early in the NCAA tournament. This team could be different. They're very good defensively. They did just win the SEC tournament, so they are coming in relatively hot. They do have a potential one-and-done talent in Kennedy Chandler. The problem with Kennedy Chandler is just he's a little small. Reminds me a lot of Sharif Cooper of Auburn from last year, except obviously Kennedy Chandler was a little bit more reliable. He was able to play the entire season. Very talented player, undersized. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does go into the draft and where he goes in the draft. Because a lot of people thought Sharif Cooper would be a first rounder. He ended up falling to the late second round last year. I'm still very high on him in Dynasty, but that's not what this is about. I do think Tennessee is going to be Longwood. I'm not real sure about Longwood. I don't know. Longwood just kind of mostly got lucky. I think Tennessee is going to be a little overwhelming to them defensively, and just talent-wise, I don't think it's going to be much of a game. Now we're getting to the 7 and the 10. This is where I'm picking my first upset in this bracket. Ohio State at 7. Ohio State lost the first round last year, so they got a sour taste in their mouth. They're a good team. Chris Holtman's a good coach, but for whatever reason, they just get bad draws in the NCAA tournament, and Chris Holtman is another guy who could potentially be on the move this offseason. Louisville, Florida are some potential jobs that he is rumored to be his name is in the hat. So with Loyola Chicago as the 10th seed, Loyola Chicago, most of us know Loyola Chicago from the Porter Moser days. They went to the Final Four that one year. Last year they went to the Sweet 16. They've gone deep in the NCAA tournament recently with fantastic coaching. Drew Valentine has taken up where Porter Moser left off, possibly even made it a better team. We'll see. I think Ohio State has the most talent, obviously, but I'm still going with the upset. I'm going with Loyola Chicago in this one to pull the upset over Ohio State. Now it'll be interesting to see. Some people have E.J. Liddell of Ohio State going in the lottery of the NBA draft, and I'm not sure he's that good. I think he's a late first rounder. He's a little undersized. He's a little Draymond Green-esque, which obviously Draymond Green is very important to Golden State, and so if you can get a guy like Draymond Green, you might want to. But I think E.J. Liddell is going to be much more successful on a good team than he's going to be on a bad team. So I don't think the lottery teams are going to take a chance on him because he's kind of already a finished product. There's not a lot of potential upside there. Either E.J. Liddell, I think he's going to fall out of the lottery. And Malachi Branham, the freshman who kind of came out of nowhere, came from the same high school as LeBron James, potentially could be a one and done. He's getting some talk as a potential first round pick. I like him as a prospect. I think he should go back to school for another year, but I won't be shocked if he does come out, especially if Ohio State loses early. Now the 2 versus the 15 seed, we got Villanova. Cool Hand Luke. Villanova is one of the best programs in college basketball right now, led by one of the best players in college basketball right now, Colin Gillespie, I feel like he's like 35 years old. I feel like he's my age. But Yeah, I think Delaware's a good team. They are one of the best mid-major teams in this tournament, I think. But I think they're going to be. I don't see them pulling the upset on Villanova. So moving to the second round here in South Regional, you got Arizona, the 1 seed versus 9 TCU. I just don't think TCU has the talent here to pull off the upset. I think that Arizona is just going to overwhelm them with the size and the talent, and TCU is going to be one of those teams that's going to it's going to need good matchups. They're going to need to have the most of the time they have the better coach. Jamie Dixon's an excellent coach, but in this instance, I don't think they have the better coach. They don't have the more talent. They don't have a good matchup. I'm going with Arizona advancing to the Sweet 16. Number 4 seed Illinois versus number 5 Houston. Now, I think in my actual bracket, I did pick Houston to win this game just because I have that much respect for Kelvin Sampson. But again, Houston, the talent in Illinois is just outstanding compared to the talent at Houston. And I think this is probably going to be, if I could rectify my bracket, I would go with Illinois over Houston, which I'm going to do now here publicly on video, document for all to see. Illinois over Houston, changing my mind. Illinois gets the Sweet 16 to face Arizona. Then we've got the 6 seed Colorado State versus the 3 seed Tennessee. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to pick the early upset for Tennessee again. I'm going to go with Colorado State and David Roddy. I love David Roddy. He's one of my favorite players in college basketball. He's going to be one of my. I hope he goes to the NBA. He's going to be one of my priority draft picks in Dynasty. I'm really interested in how he does in the NBA because he's like a linebacker. He's a big guy, but he's only like 6'4", 6'5". He's like Charles Barkley kind of. I think he reminds me of Charles Barkley. We all know how Charles Barkley had a pretty excellent career. So David Roddy could be kind of the same. I'm going with Colorado State over Tennessee and the big upset in this bracket. And then the 10 seed Loyola Chicago versus 2 seed Villanova. I think, again, Villanova, Jay Wright is just such an excellent coach. Colin Gillespie, such a good player. A lot of experience, a lot of big game experience there. It's hard to pick against Villanova at this stage of the tournament. So Villanova, the 2 seed over Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago got the big upset over Ohio State, but they go out in the round of 32. Now in the Sweet 16 for the South region, we got Arizona versus Illinois. Again, I think this is gonna be a really good matchup. 2 really uber talented teams with kind of the same style, the same kind of players. Illinois does have the more dominant big man offensively, but Christian Kaloko defensively is probably the best defensive big in the NCAA, so that can neutralize them. It's going to be a good matchup, close game, hard-fought game, probably a low-scoring game, but I'm going to go with Arizona over Illinois here. Illinois' NCAA tournament run ends here in the Sweet 16, and then the 6 seed Colorado State versus 2 seed Villanova. I'm going to go ahead and pick the upset again. I'm just really high on Colorado State, on David Roddy, on Nico Medved. I'm going to go Colorado State over Villanova. Villanova gets the shockingly upset in the Sweet 16, ending the 34-year-old point guard Colin Gillespie's NCAA career. It'll be interesting to see if he can make the transition to the NBA. Kind of like, I remember Scotty Reynolds when he was in Villanova, and how outstanding of a college player he was, and he never sniffed the NBA. It's going to be just interesting to see if Colin Gillespie kind of ends up the same way. Now in the regional final, South regional final, we've got Arizona 2, I wouldn't say West Coast, Midwest, Southwest. No, Colorado State's definitely in the northern part of the state. West. We'll just go West Coast schools in the South regional here in the Elite Eight. Arizona will defeat Colorado State. This is where Colorado State's magical little run finally ends. Just the talent, the pace, the size of Arizona will overwhelm Colorado State and end their great season. That'll catapult Nico Medved to whatever major job he wants this offseason, and David Roddy into potentially the first round of the NBA draft. So, yeah, all that talk, all that bluster, all that jibber jabber, 25 minutes, 26 minutes almost of jibber jabber, just to ultimately go down to the number one seed from the South, getting to the Final Four. I just think that this Arizona just feels legit for the first time in a long time. Tommy Lloyd is pushing all the right buttons with all these players. These players have all improved immensely under his 1 year with them. I think they're going to ride this wave all the way to the Final Four, even without their point guard, who could potentially return at some point in this tournament, which is just going to make them stronger. Potentially, he's probably going to be out first weekend, but if they can get to the 16, Kirk Carissa should be back for that, which is just going to make them more potent offensively, bring the leadership back. It's just going to make them better. So they just got to survive those first couple of games, which honestly shouldn't be too hard. The games get tough for them. In the Sweet 16, they got to face Illinois. I think Illinois might be their toughest matchup of the tournament until the Final Four. So, yeah, I'll get to the Midwest Regional later. I can't believe each one of these videos is just getting longer and longer. I'll do the Midwest Regional later after I eat, which my dinner should be about halfway cooked by now since this video is taking so long. I just get into it. I don't even really feel like I've been talking that long, but timestamp says so. I gotta believe it, right? So thanks for watching. My last two videos did get a little bit more viewers than standard, which isn't saying much, but it's good to see that I'm able to maintain a little bit of an audience. So thank you so much. Peace, love, and nacho fries. Love the brackets, I guess.